Hey, everybody, welcome to an emergency episode of the Whoa What podcast. Today, we're going to talk about Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and I just found out Bank of America going down. What in the world is going on?
I think that you said it right there. The world is going on, and it's about to go down. Well, I mean, whistleblower, Facebook, Francis, however the hell you say his last name, Haugen?
It's
Haugen?
Francis Hogan, probably
What?
female.
Female.
Francis Hogan
Okay, I wouldn't have guessed that.
was on 60 Minutes last night, I believe,
Okay.
discussing, from what I can read, the idea that Facebook has put their own profits ahead of like scientifically known issues of mental health.
Oh,
I mean-
sweet.
Are we surprised, though?
Well, so this all came out last night. So from what I was reading, according to what Miss Hogan said, I hope that's pronounced right.
I think it's Haugen. Or Haugen.
Haugen.
Haugen. Like Haagen-Dazs?
Either way, what she has said is that Facebook has prioritized angry and divisive content. And according to her, I guess kind of the idea from a publisher is that they have thought along the lines of, oh, if I do more angry, polarizing, divisive content, I get more money. That is a quote from the CNBC article that I read before recording this podcast. So the interesting thing about that is during the last election cycle,
Right.
everything was talking about Facebook prioritizing, as they put in a lot of times, angry white people, stirring them up, older folks
Yeah.
who are more inclined to believe things on Facebook. So my take from this is it as much what people are garnering from Facebook, or is it that Facebook wanted this from the beginning?
I mean, every news outlet, all they put out now is angry, polarizing, divisive content. Because it gets clicks. Whether it's on the side that you agree with or the side you don't agree with, you're going to click on it to see what they said.
I agree, and I think that that's one thing that I've noticed, and I think a lot of times we attribute it to just the growth of social media,
Yeah.
and that it's ever present.
Okay.
But, I don't know how I really want to word this. Is it that we just attributed all of these things to the growth of social media, thinking that how many times have we heard, oh, the information is so much more readily available now?
Yeah,
Okay,
but at the
yeah.
same time, I feel like there's much more false information readily available now than there was a long time ago.
Well, I believe that's what he's saying is like the information, not just the information.
Just
like the
information
truth,
in general.
Information in general.
Yes.
No matter who
is
came
so
up with
much
it.
ready.
Right, and that
Like Wikipedia, for example.
well, and the difference, I think the difference in what I'm saying versus kind of what's been thought is that we just attributed it to more information being available. We're seeing all these things that we've never agreed with, that we've never seen in the news, we've never seen in newspapers, we've never seen in any of these things.
Yeah.
And we attribute it to, I mean, how many times, Aaron, have you and I talked about a subject and gone, well, Facebook is around now. Twitter's around now.
YouTube,
Instagram's around
Google,
now. YouTube.
anything
Google.
you want to do, you can YouTube it.
But what we're seeing now with this whistleblower is that it seems like it's a lot less that more information is just available and more, these are the things that Facebook wants people to see. In fact, one thing that she said is that angry content is more likely to receive engagement,
Well, yeah, 100%.
which makes sense
Yeah.
saying it out loud. But the political parties and all of the powers that be are aware of it, is one of the things that she said.
Okay, but if you go political with Facebook, they only push one side of the political spectrum.
They push it as far as their community guidelines and stuff are concerned, but they clearly, or at least what I'm taking from this, is they want the other side to be available, maybe for people to engage with it. You're going to get the clicks, you're going to get the comments, you're going to get the shares, whether it be sharing like, hey, I stand with this concept, or sharing saying, hey, look at this idiot and what
I mean,
they believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just like, okay, for the longest time before all this, you had what was broadcast out there on TV channels before streaming and Facebook and all that fun stuff.
Right.
So then it was a matter of like, okay, well, this person watches CNN while this person watches Fox News. So then Facebook, in my opinion, takes that. They know you're more of a Fox News guy, so they give you more of the like, so and so owns a liberal, or like, listen to this liberal nonsense. And then opposite way for the more like left leaning side of people, it's, oh, watch these stupid rednecks, or watch
Well,
this shit.
So my question is Facebook doing that to us, or are we doing that?
Oh, I just go from the guideline side.
I think it's a little both.
I think it's both.
I think
Okay.
based on what they know about us, they
You're right.
can guide that.
But if you go through when you're setting up your Facebook account and you're paying attention to stuff and you're liking pages, and you go through and you like things like CNN, Huffington Post, Vox,
Right.
The Onion,
MSNBC.
MSNBC, CNBC, NBC,
All of
pretty
them
much all
other
the
than one.
major news outlets, with the exception of Fox News, you are providing those to yourself because you're so like on the flip side, if you like Turning Point USA and you like the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro and you like Louder
Okay.
with Crowder and you like Fox News, you're going to see all the things that you agree with. Then whenever somebody shares something that you disagree with, that's going to cause you to engage with it more. So is it
Okay, I get
Facebook's
you.
fault? I'm sure most of it is,
Right.
where they're pushing these things, especially with the fact checking,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
we know that they're only fact checking certain things.
that's what I'm going to say. So I think, based on this, angry, polarizing, divisive content. Now let's just boil this down. This is going to be a very large generalization. And obviously it's not going to apply to everything. But who uses Facebook more than anybody? Now, old people. Typically, older people.
Yeah.
And if you look at statistics,
Okay.
who's much more likely to be older? Usually more conservative leaning people.
Usually, yeah.
Typically, if you look at just the stats, older people typically lean conservative
Typically.
for the most part. Now, what gets fact checked on Facebook? Conservative views. What doesn't? Anything that's not conservative views, basically.
Pretty much, more or less, yeah. I'd say so.
So, to get people angry, they just fact check it and then make it look like, oh, you're sharing untrue content.
Fact
but
check
to-
or tear down the post.
Yeah, they do that. And then all you can see is either, oh, this whole company is taking away my viewpoints, or two, you see stuff you don't agree with and then you get angry. And then you engage.
Yeah,
and then you
and-
get in the comments, and then you get into that Twitter feed or that Facebook feed or whatever it is that I always get drawn down, and then I get angry. And I don't like it. But I
So-
keep doing it.
Have you guys ever really looked at the report on like a particular post that says this has been fact checked by an
Mhm.
independent?
I mean, I've
Company.
never like taken a good look at it.
So
no.
what's crazy about it is a lot of the stuff will say things like, this statement is mostly true.
Yeah. Or
But-
this is
Okay, yeah.
slightly misleading.
Yes, but not enough people look into it. So let's just say, for instance, Donald Trump goes out and says, perfect example, he were to say something like, I totally and completely condemn the white supremacists. If you look back at the Virginia rallies where you had the KKK
Right.
and Black Lives Matter kind of coming to a head,
Okay, yeah.
a lot of the news outlets shared that he said, you guys remember?
Mhm.
Oh,
There are
I
good
remember.
people on both sides.
Yeah.
If you extend that clip and watch it at whole, and this isn't like a throwing support to Donald Trump. This is just a good example.
Yeah.
If you extend that clip, he says, and this is rough. This is rough.
Rough
A rough quote.
paraphrasing.
I don't have the quote in front of me, but
It's pretty accurate.
He says there were good people on both sides, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis. I'm not talking about the white supremacists. They should be condemned totally.
Yeah. I
Okay.
remember that.
But they clip anything.
Right.
They can
but,
clip anything to make it look the way they want it to look.
Right. But what I'm saying is in this regard to a fact check, let's just say someone puts a post let's say he said this at the White House. I don't remember where he said it, but let's just say
I
he
think
said
it was
it
at the rally.
Let's just say, well, okay, but for the sake of argument and for the sake of talking about how this fact check thing I see a lot of works,
Yeah.
let's say it says Donald Trump, somebody shares Donald Trump in the Oval Office says, I condemn white supremacy and white nationalism totally.
Okay.
They can fact check that
Yeah.
if he said it on the South Lawn. And it'll say, this has been fact checked by independent fact checkers. So to most people, they go, that's a lie. But if you click it and open it, it'll say, statement is mostly true. Donald Trump actually said this on the South Lawn, not in the Oval Office.
Oh.
And that is
They
one
find
way.
anything that's slightly off,
Right.
or it could just not be anything at all. And then they throw it out there like, hey, that's wrong. And most people won't go that deep.
No.
So speaking of the political aspect of all of this is a quote from Miss Haugen, however it's pronounced, from the 60 Minutes from the CNBC article that I read earlier. She said, quote, one of the most shocking pieces of information that I've brought out of Facebook that I think is essential to the disclosure is political parties have been quoted in Facebook's own research saying, we know you changed how you pick out the content that goes in the home feed. And now, if we don't publish angry, hateful, polarizing, divisive content, if we don't publish angry, hateful, polarizing, divisive content, crickets. We don't get anything. And we don't like this. We know our constituents don't like this. But if we don't do these stories, we don't get distributed. And so it used to be that we did very little of it. And now we have to do a lot of it because we have jobs to do. And if we don't get traffic and engagement, we'll lose our jobs. So rather than let's take, say, the Green New Deal, when AOC drummed that up with, I believe, support from Bernie Sanders
Right.
and things like that, it went from, it was 2 pages. I don't know if you guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
The Green New Deal was, it was 2 pages.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
But it was thrown everywhere. Steven Crowder on YouTube read it. He posted a video on YouTube where he sat, paper in hand, and just read it. That's all he did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the video got removed.
Yep. Colian Noir does gun content. Every video that he posts, he has it at the very end that YouTube is going to suppress its content, and the only way that it's going to get shared is if you share it. Because they will not promote it. It will not be on the front page. It will not be trending. None of that.
Yeah.
It never will be. That's why Rhett and Link of Good Mythical Morning are always on the front page.
Yeah.
Because they're neutral, slightly left-leaning, don't talk about politics, don't say bad words, don't do anything that's other than neutral. And they get on the front page every time.
And
Okay,
if you,
I get it.
for the longest time, and I don't know if it's true, I used to check this every now and then. I'm going to kind of show my hand here.
Okay.
But I really enjoy the Steven Crowder Change My Mind series.
Who doesn't? It's great.
I think everyone should.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a discussion.
That's all he wants.
Whether you're right or wrong, it's a discussion.
But on YouTube, for a long period of time, and again, I don't know if this is the case right now, but on YouTube for the longest time, if you typed in Steven Crowder Changed My Mind, those keywords, it took several pages before you'd even get his channel.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see Seth Meyers, you'd see Stephen Colbert, you'd see Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon.
Wow.
You'd see
Yes, they bury that
CNBC.
stuff.
You'd see other people talking about his Change My Mind, but not his. And we all know he's gone through the demonetized, suspended, monetized again, demonetized. And some of the stuff was, I like him. I think he's funny. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think
he's
he's
funny.
ever really said anything that was really all that bad. Whenever he went against Vox, which is a huge company that's supported by NBC, millions and millions of dollars. He called, this is a quote, he called Carlos Maza, he was a guy who worked there, a lispy queer.
And once again, that was a quote from someone else.
That
Not
was,
us.
right, not us.
Not us.
That is just
I think
us
I
saying.
remember that.
So the issue with that was that I'm pretty sure the reason he used that, and I don't have this in front of me to know for sure, but the reason he used that was because, as from the way I understand it, Carlos Maza described himself that way.
I mean, it's possible. And the appropriate word to use is different every 6 weeks.
Okay, so we've kind of gotten off the rails
Yeah.
about that, but just to kind of show you the power that these large companies have that are going into this. And so if these political parties know all of this stuff, they know what they have to share. They know that Trump hugging a police officer is going to tick the left off, and that Biden doing anything is going to tick the right off.
Yeah.
And that's all we get. That's all we get.
I mean, that's all I get other than stuff my friends share. But then half the time, I won't ever see it again.
Right.
Like, it'll go up, it'll be up for a few hours, and it's gone forever.
Yeah. And I've noticed, this is another thing I've noticed on my Facebook feed. Again, showing my hand, but Fox News, as of late, I'm getting less Fox News stories shared, and literally without captioned political cartoons.
Really?
Which is interesting. And a lot of them make a lot of sense. You can see where they're coming from, whichever side it may be on.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes you just sit there and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Why am I getting this?
I don't get any of that.
And on top of that, I've been getting, and this is something else that I've noticed a lot lately, I didn't even think of until right now. I can say this with utmost certainty. There is no page on my Facebook feed that would make anyone at Facebook believe that I should get content from pages called things like liberal progressives, progressives for socialism, things like that, right?
But you get it.
But in the same vein, I would like to make it very clear that I'm not getting alt-right stuff either. Regardless of what some people think the alt-right is, I'm not getting their items either.
Right.
But
They're brochures.
I'm not
That they
getting
send out via
brochures,
Facebook.
not getting anything.
Damn.
But
those
again,
goddamn
there
brochures.
there is nothing on my Facebook feed that would make Facebook believe I want to see not even Bernie Sanders socialism, like true blue commie socialism. And I'm getting stuff
Mike, you bought a loaf of bread, but your neighbor doesn't have one, so you better share it.
I better give all of it to him.
Better
Like,
give him all of your
Do
bread
you
and
wish
then
you
hope he gives
lived
you
in the
something.
USSR again? This is for you.
And I'm getting stuff like that.
Yeah,
And I was, ironically enough, getting angry.
but
Like, why am I getting this?
I don't think anyone here would disagree that Facebook, not really Instagram because it's more just pictures of whatever. Probably not Twitter because it's a gong show of just random garbage all the time. But all of the news outlets, for the most part, and most of the social medias have a lean to one side, and it's always the same side.
Yeah, no, I don't think that
So do we
that's-
think that this is trying to get everybody angry on both sides, or they are just trying to shut out one side and we don't talk to enough people on the other side?
Well, no, I think that if they were, I think based on everything that she has said and the things that I've read about this, it doesn't do any good to only anger one side. That's not what they're trying to do.
Unless they have some sort of political gain to make from it.
Honestly, what I honestly wish, I wish we had somebody in this room right now who was
On the other side.
on the other side.
Yeah.
And maybe
I mean, I agree.
maybe following pages like Huffington Post, like Vox, like
I mean, I get stuff from Stephen Colbert all the time.
well, yeah.
Never once have I wanted it.
Right. Well, like I said, I just want to know: are they getting
Louder with Crowder?
Louder with Crowder? Are they getting Ben Shapiro,
I doubt it.
PragerU, Turning Point USA, Candace Owens, Charlie
Yeah.
Kirk?
I mean, I doubt it. People that want to watch Louder with Crowder have a hard time finding it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Also, I say I have a question for you, and let me ask you this a lot. I'm going
Yeah,
to
you
try
do.
to clean that up. So, apologies to the listeners.
I want different words.
But
Same question, though.
okay. Do you think? How do I want to say this? Do you think that the overwhelming, now maybe not overwhelming, but a majority of people on Facebook, because let's be honest, we see a lot of action on Facebook from the older demographic, right? The people who
Yeah.
are retired, who sit at home and play Farmville,
And drive while they're looking at Facebook and nearly crash.
and do things like that. So do we
Okay,
think
yeah.
that there's enough people like that who will share anything. Do we think that there's enough people that they don't have to rely on Facebook to push the agenda of the people who will share anything?
Okay, I might not go 100% on that. Yeah, I might not go 100% on that, but I'd probably say at the least 75 to 80% on that one.
Well, so here's the thing. So I've said enough that I'm not afraid to say this, and I hope it doesn't turn anybody off. I'm a conservative. Always have been, probably always will be. Okay. But I'm torn because I see a lot of people that are my age that are conservative who also don't care and will share anything they want. And I'm wondering if that comes from wanting the clicks. But I don't do that. You could go through my Facebook page, and for the most part, you could probably figure out where I'm at.
I don't think I've posted anything on Facebook in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've shared Steven Crowder stuff. I've shared Ben Shapiro stuff.
Yeah.
Never anything like super inflammatory or anything like that because that's just not me.
You also don't want to end up on that list.
But there are enough people who do share. I've seen plenty of people that I'm friends with on Facebook, my age and older, just share anything. And I'm wondering now, after looking at this, were they always like that? Perfect example, one of my best friends. He never shared anything.
Okay.
Anything political. Both you guys know him. He's never shared. Leading up to Joe Biden being elected president, very rarely did he share anything.
All right.
Then Biden gets elected.
Okay.
He wins the election. He gets inaugurated, and now he's in. And I have seen an uptick in this person's social media feed like you wouldn't believe.
That much?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Wow.
So, are they getting angrier because of Facebook?
I mean,
Or-
I've seen an increase in hate comments and hate posts, I guess you could say,
From both sides?
from both sides, but mainly the conservative side. I've seen a lot more angry comments
have
and
I.
posts in the last, month, 2?
Well, and look what's going around.
I mean, there
Every
has been...
sporting event you go to, you're getting an F Joe Biden chant.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff hasn't happened. There was a rap song that said F Donald Trump over and over and over again.
Yeah, but not
Sure.
seen by the masses
Well, no,
at sporting events chanting it for their own enjoyment.
but are we just collectively getting angrier?
I think we're getting angry to the point that it's a problem. And this doesn't help.
Or does it?
I think people would be much less angry if they weren't getting fed things to keep them angry.
I agree. So that kind of leads me into I'm going to kind of skip ahead of a couple points here and we'll come back. So is this happening to Facebook and Instagram? Side note, real quick.
And Bank of America. Unrelated, but
For us, this happening to Instagram, not great.
No.
We're trying to get this
Terrible.
thing off the ground. We're using Instagram a lot. We've had quite a bit of engagement and nobody's been angry.
and we just
No.
posted a sick clip on Instagram
We did.
that
So
I
hopefully it goes
edited
back up.
myself.
So for us, bad. This is not good. We hadn't created a Facebook page yet, but we did have Instagram. We were utilizing it. But across the board, is this a good thing? Is Facebook being shut down? Let me read you something. Something that I was texted earlier. A tweet from, let's see here. Let me get it pulled up. From at Benjamin Enfield. The Twitter page is the Academy. It's a verified Twitter account. And I don't understand all the...
You have to have like a large audience, I think, or something.
Well, no,
Kind of like YouTube.
No, I was going to say, I don't understand the nuts and bolts of this. It's a computer page that looks like...
Oh, I thought you meant the verification.
No, it looks like a bunch of IP addresses. Look, that's not me. I can turn one on. I can utilize it. I can't code.
I mean, that might be HTML.
But it says, so and this is a quote from, again, at Benjamin Enfield on Twitter. So someone deleted large sections of the routing. That doesn't mean Facebook is just down. From the looks of it, that means Facebook is gone.
I mean, I don't know if it's on what it operates on, but you can still open Facebook. It just doesn't refresh,
Right.
which would lead me to believe it's not gone. I don't know coding. I'm pretty sure what you're looking at is HTML, from my rough knowledge.
Well,
But
I
I
mean,
don't think it's gone.
Well, I mean, maybe not gone in the sense that, like you said, you can still pull it up,
Yeah.
but gone in the sense as now it's a thing of the past. Like,
I mean, it might be.
it's
I'm not that
said, it's
mad if
done,
Facebook
it's
is gone
dead,
forever, to be honest.
like, it's lost to the past.
I will be a little sad that Instagram's gone. I like Instagram. Facebook, I don't really care about because every time I go on there, I just get angry, conveniently.
So
I get angry every time.
So here's an article from The Verge.
Okay.
The title of the article is "Locked Out and Totally Down. Facebook is scrambling to fix massive outages." Okay, here's a quote directly from this article. I'm trying to see. It was written by an Alex Heath. And it was posted 48 minutes ago, so roughly 4 o'clock Central. It says the outage, which began around 11:40 a.m. Eastern on Monday, has brought down all of Facebook apps, including Instagram and WhatsApp, globally affecting billions of users and millions of advertisers. Inside Facebook, the outage has also broken nearly all of the internal system employees use to communicate and work. Several employees told The Verge they've resorted to talking through their work-provided Outlook email accounts since Facebook mainly runs on an internal version of the social network that is currently not accessible. While employees can email each other, they can't send or receive emails from external addresses. And it goes on to say that since Facebook requires employees to log in with their work accounts to access tools such as Google Docs and Zoom, those services also aren't working, leading some employees to use alternative services like Apple's FaceTime and Discord. Employees who were already authenticated with non-Facebook tools like Google Docs before the outage began still have access.
Before you
I wanna be
continue,
on that Discord channel.
shout out to Discord. Discord's a great thing.
So I also read another report, and I can't remember the article now or who posted it, but so it seems from what I just read there that their inter-work, I guess, network operates a lot like Facebook and uses, I guess, the same servers.
Yeah.
Well, evidently, according to another article I read, another server that it uses is the key cards. So there are employees, from what I read now, I don't know if this is true, but there are employees standing outside Facebook because they can't get in.
You'd think that a company like that, technology-based, and it only runs on technology, that's their whole company, probably would have had separate servers.
Well, evidently, they're sending like their top guys to their server farms. So,
Okay, something like this does
Oh,
not happen on
that's good.
accident.
well, that was going to lead me into my next thing. Where you at, Zuck? Is he underground?
Is he a human?
No, he's definitely not a human.
He's a lizard.
He's a lizard.
Big lizard, though.
Big lizard who needs a booster seat. Let's just remember that. little
He's a
picture.
small human, big lizard.
So okay. So we wonder if it's a good thing. Again,
I'm not that mad about it.
no.
Because
I'm not
Facebook
either.
makes me mad. Instagram I like, though.
So let's talk about what we think caused it. If you believe that tweet that I read, again, I'll read it again just so it's fresh in our minds. If you believe the tweet from @Benjamin Enfield at the Academy, so someone deleted large sections of the routing. That doesn't mean Facebook is just down. From the looks of it, that means Facebook is gone. I mean,
One, where did he get his info? I don't know how he knows that. Shout out to, what is his name? Benjamin.
@Benjamin Enfield.
Hit us up, because I want to know where you got that from. But two, someone did that on purpose.
It would seem that way.
Whether it's someone in Facebook, or it has something to do with this whistleblower situation, or it's some sort of weird government conspiracy
Max?
to shut down our lines of communication.
I mean, yeah, it does kind of seem like the whistle blew, and some, if not a crowd, at least somebody stepped up and took care of something.
I mean, I think it's either the whistleblower situation,
Yeah.
and then some group like Anonymous got their hands on it,
Well, yeah, that's what.
and then just shut them down. Because they can do that with anybody.
That's what I'm saying. It's like back in World War I when they would blow the whistle for
Mhm.
everyone to pile out of the trenches and
Yeah.
get after it. Like the whistle blew, and now
And now
here
it's
we
gone.
go. it has started.
So is this the beginning to something bigger, or is this it? Like, is this I mean, I don't know if Bank of America is related, because they went down 3-4 days ago. Because I saw a video, this guy saying that he banks at Bank of America. He tried to do an online
Yeah.
deposit. It didn't work. So then he went to the store, and they were like, "We can't do anything." Like,
Yeah.
and then he said he stood there for a little while, and it came back.
Okay.
Like, they could access it.
It went down and it's come back, but now
Yeah.
it's gone again.
Now it's gone again. Is it going to be gone forever? How many people, if it's gone forever, which I don't think will happen, but if it's gone forever,
Yeah.
how much money is in Bank of America servers in dollar amounts?
Okay. Let's not just talk how much money. Whose money?
Whose money is in Bank of America?
Yeah.
Who banks with Bank of America? How much is in Bank of America? If it doesn't come back, like Facebook, where'd all that money go?
Because that's what really matters with every bank.
Whose money?
I mean, like all three of us bank at the same place. But who up there possibly banks at the same bank we bank?
Yeah. Because they're not concerned about our money.
No.
They're concerned about that big money.
So back to Facebook really quickly. Full disclosure to the audience, I stepped out of the room to answer a phone call from my wife. If you guys have wives at home and she calls, you know the drill.
You hang up once, and then if she calls again, you answer it.
All right, different story here.
She asked me what I was doing, and I let her know that we were recording an emergency episode about Facebook being down. To which she said, "What?" And I kind of gave her some small snippets of info that I've given the audience now. And she goes, "Oh, crap. That's where I basically use Facebook as a backup for all of my photos."
Oh, no.
So while you still have access to Facebook and all of those things going on as we record this,
I wonder if you can access your account.
I don't
I'll
know.
look into it. Give me a
But-
moment.
She said, and shout out to her, shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
She said, make sure you make that a talking point because a lot of people probably do the same thing.
Yep, you can still access your account. And from the looks of it, I can access my photos. I have all my photos still accessible on Facebook.
So here's the thing. So we've gone through what we think caused it. But what we haven't talked about is what is there to gain from this?
I don't think this is the beginning, or I don't think this is the end.
Well, I'm not saying that it's the end, but I mean, goodness gracious, everything has an end game, a means to an end, something like that. Facebook, the biggest social media platform in the world, with Instagram, with WhatsApp, with one thing we haven't talked about, Oculus VR, that is also down.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I just don't. The only reason I bring that up is I don't think it. I mean, I think it falls under the umbrella of all their stuff, but I don't think that's the main attack.
Well, here's the
They
thing.
wanted Facebook, and all the other stuff is just secondary.
Okay, well, here's the thing is I've tried to log in. Max and I both play a game on our phones, a blackjack game.
Yep.
An addiction, but yeah.
And I had mentioned to him that where I had read something to the effect that apps that are tied to Facebook are also having issues.
Like
Like-
if you log in via Facebook.
Airbnb, Strava, whatever. I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know what that
But
is.
that
It
was one
sounds
thing
familiar.
in one of the
no
reports
idea.
that I read. So not only is Facebook down, but it's harming access to other apps. So
But are
even
those-
though this isn't the end, there's always something to gain. You could look. This is going to sound silly, but you could look over, and just a kind of unrelated, but to tie in. There is a passage of water
Okay.
between the United Arab Emirates, Oman, and Iran. Okay, it's called the Strait of Hormuz. It's 30 miles. There are a total of 6 miles of passable shipping lanes. It's a
Okay.
2-mile stretch for incoming. It's a 2-mile stretch for outgoing, 2 miles wide with a 2-mile barrier in between. How many other shipping lanes are in the world?
Way too many.
Okay, but if you shut this one down, there are 8 countries that border the Persian Gulf.
Yep.
Okay? All of these places I think the report that I saw was with the shipping lanes open, 15% of the world's energy comes out of this place, from natural gas to petroleum to oil, all those things.
And a lot more right around the corner, basically.
Yikes.
Because if you hit, what is it, the Black Sea? If you block off the entrance and exit to the Black Sea, all of America's energy's gone.
Right. But so you could look at that and see Iran, for instance, because they border it. Of the 8 countries that border the Strait of Hormuz or the Persian Gulf,
Right.
7 of them have U.S. bases in them. The only one that doesn't is Iran, and Iran is right on it. There's a bunch of little islands all over the place. Iran technically controls all of them. There are a few that are considered contested by the United Arab Emirates. But if they shut that down, anyone else could look at it and go, well, this isn't the end, but what is there to gain? But if you shut down the Strait of Hormuz, 15% of the world's energy is gone.
Yeah.
So if we look at Facebook like the Strait of Hormuz,
No, I'm not saying this isn't the end of the world. I'm saying I don't think this is the last thing to get shut down.
I understand that. That's what I'm trying to say. Is what is there to gain? We know what there is to gain by shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. China and Japan's world economies would almost immediately shut down. That's
Similar
it.
to the situation they're having right now with all of the shipping containers of their products sitting in the sea.
Right. But what I'm saying is you could shut down the Strait of Hormuz and we could sit here and have the same conversation of, well, this isn't the end.
Yeah.
What's coming next?
Yeah.
But shutting down the Strait of Hormuz has a goal. It has a tangible effect.
Okay.
So if this is in fact purposely done with Facebook, whoever did it, regardless, whatever your opinion on of how it happened, what do they stand to gain? Again, I know not the end, probably. We all kind of believe that
Yeah.
more is to come.
Yeah, I could agree.
I mean, this year's already been twice as bad as last year was. And last year, this year was supposed to be the rollover of, it's going to be great now. We got through it.
Okay, so in your opinions, what is there to gain from shutting Facebook down like this?
Well, I mean, you have to look at Facebook. It's not what it used to be. It's not. It used to just be a place to share funny pictures and ideas and, whatever
Well, it's
else.
not even how it started.
And
It
now,
started as a dating app.
well, yeah, but for the longest time, it was just, I'm going to share a recipe or whatever I'm going to share. Now it's a marketplace. It's a messaging platform for those people that don't have Verizon, Sprint, whatever. They don't have that access. They only have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you've got
Most of them
discussion
use
groups.
either WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. Both of those are gone. So it's a messenger. It's a marketplace. It's a political viewpoint area. Like, there's everything it has to offer. What do we think's the most targetable of those areas? Is it the communication side? Or is it the news side of it? Like, I'm talking communication one-on-one on Messenger or whatever else. What do we think's more important to if someone was going to target it?
Well, I think to decide that,
Or is it a political attempt to shut down
well, that's what I'm going
one
to.
side of the spectrum?
That's what I was going to say. I think to decide that, we have to think about what we think caused it.
I think it's either the whistleblower has something to do with it, and then some group like Anonymous took it over and just said, to hell with you, and you're gone. Or it's some political conspiracy, whatever you want to call it.
Well, evidently, she left with like thousands of documents, kind of similar to Edward Snowden.
Yeah, a little Snowden effect.
You know?
So, if she did that, like, who wins? Who wins? Again, we have to decide where it came from.
Do we think we're in a time of winners or a time of I didn't lose? I mean, all the cancel culture thing.
There it is.
Is it back?
Yeah.
Well, shit. And
Was this a test run?
I don't know. Mine's... oh, yep, it's back. It is back. All right. Well, interesting. See, I told you it wasn't going to go down forever. Yep, it's back for sure. Well,
I'm saying test run.
so it's a test run. Or we can go real deep with it. If someone wanted to steal everything Facebook had, what would you do? You'd shut them down to their scrambling.
Yeah.
You pull all their info, and then they come back up. They're so focused on fixing the problem, they're not looking at what's getting taken. I mean, that's one way to look at it, because it's now that it's back.
I have had the wind completely taken out of my sails.
Yeah.
I can tell.
I mean, I'm not going to say I was excited, but I was kind of excited about a new thing going on. Well,
We had a wonderful episode,
yeah, we did.
only to find out 45 minutes into it.
Wait.
Roughly.
Does blackjack work now?
I mean, that is a good question. Does blackjack work?
Daggone it.
Well, that sucks. I mean, it's
Yeah,
good
it
for
works.
Zuck, the old Zuck. But, well, I guess we just look like a bunch of loonies now.
We do.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know, I've been called worse.
We're going to keep this now.
I mean, yeah. And I'm not editing that out either. This
Like,
is content.
how many subscribers down the road do we go, hey, you guys want to hear what we did when Facebook crashed? And
No, I'm posting this tonight. And I'm going to title it Facebook Scammed Us.
here's how you reacted to Facebook and Instagram crashing.
All right.
Now,
well,
what happens if it goes down in a week or 6 months or whatever, and they can come back to this episode and be like, they called it?
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the emergency episode of Facebook being down. That went right back live in the
At
middle
the
of
end.
this.
We were about to finish this.
So thanks for tuning in. I guess, Aaron, you're going to post this?
Yeah, I'm going to post
This
it.
is where we need like live broadcasting.
I know.
Yeah.
We could have broken the story.
Yeah, we
We
could have broke
could've.
the story, broke it wide open.
And then
So-
it came back up.
And then it came back up. It's like, stay with us while we get through this crisis together. And then, bam, it's back up. Folks, we got through it. We did it.
So thanks for tuning in, guys.
And new episode goes live tomorrow.
New episode goes live Tuesday, October 5th.
Not
covering
about Facebook.
Sports. And you guys have seen the clips. You guys have heard the clips, rather. Pretty good stuff. Pay attention to our Instagram page. I'm going to be dropping some photos that will go hand in hand with next week's episode of The Great Outdoors. If there is something you guys want us to talk about when it comes to The Great Outdoors, please send us a direct message at WhoaWhatPod on Instagram now that it's working again. Send us an email, whoawhat3@gmail.com. Just send us what you want to hear, because there's the Great Outdoors episode isn't going to be like as scripted, or not necessarily scripted, but have the
Structured.
as structured as the sports.
Right.
So if you guys have questions, you want to hear three idiots tell you what we would do in that situation, spoiler alert, shoot into the darkness. So thank you guys for tuning in to the seemingly now useless emergency episode. Tune into our Instagram page. Like I said, I'm going to put some pictures and some different things up for the Great Outdoors. Email us at whoawhat3@gmail.com. Instagram direct message at whoawhatpod. We are going to be on, Aaron, I believe, Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, clips on YouTube. I may end up making a second YouTube account for clips only, but
Okay.
as of right now, they will be on separate playlists. So full episodes on one playlist, clips on another.
Okay. Anything that you guys want to hear, we've got some good notes going forward here from different episodes. We'll just go into some of these. We're going to talk some cars one episode, maybe movies and TV, married life and parenthood. That's going to be a big one. So whenever we get closer to that, we'll share some photos. We'll share some things that kind of let you guys know that that's where we're going. Because we want to hear stories from you guys.
I want clips.
And we'll talk construction and restoration. We'll talk this country, America.
God, that's going to be a big one.
We'll talk what it means to be a man because, we don't want to single anybody out, but, we're 3 guys. So we're 3 married guys. 2 of us are dads.
Guys being dudes out here.
And I personally have 2 sons that I want to raise in such a fashion that even though we make jokes about this a lot even though I make jokes about this a lot with Max, I want to raise sons that Max would be proud to have his daughters date.
I get it.
And for any men out there with daughters, I want to raise sons that they would be proud of their daughters going out with. So stuff like that, whenever we get closer, we'll release those kinds of things. Again, we want to hear from you guys. Not angry audience engagement like Facebook wants. But
Friendly.
just engagement. We want to tell your stories. We want to feature you on the podcast. So, like I said, next week, Great Outdoors at Whoa What Pod on Instagram, WhoaWhat3@gmail for emailing us. Find us on YouTube, Whoa What Podcast. Or is it
It's
just
Whoa What?
Whoa What on YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Leave us reviews on Apple and Spotify. Things like that. So this has been Steven. Thank you guys for tuning in.
This is Aaron.
This is Max.
And we'll catch you guys next time.